Judy Cerullo has advocated for the welfare of cats and dogs across Central Florida for more than 25 years. I'll talk to the woman behind Pet Rescue by Judy about caring for animals and finding them forever homes. Next on UCF Metro Center Outlook.
This program is made possible by funding from the UCF Metropolitan Center for Regional Studies, where government leaders, business executives, and academic experts come together to discuss major issues facing the state of Florida.
Hello everyone, welcome to UCF Metro Center Outlook. I'm Diane Trees, Director of the UCF Metropolitan Center for Regional Studies, and your host for Metro Center Outlook. Joining me today is Judy Cerullo from Pet Rescue by Judy. The nonprofit rescues animals, provides them with vaccines, and finds them homes. But what can be done to avoid abandonment of animals in the first place? I'll talk to Judy about proper pet care and more. But first, let's take a look at how one local police unit is using dogs to perform sensitive and specialized tasks.
Hey buddy, you ready to go to work?
Meet Billy, canine deputy with the Seminole County Sheriff's Department. The 5-year-old bloodhound has been on duty for some 4 years now, doing what he does best, helping to find lost kids and adults, criminals, guns, and all sorts of evidence.
We don't teach Billy how to track. He knows how to track the bloodhound in him genetically, but we teach him how to track what we want. Yeah. He's a good boy. Yeah, you ready to go?
These two partners live together 24/7 and have an unbreakable bond of love and respect.
I mean, I love dogs. I mean, I think they're wonderful. I might, they're better than some of the bad people I know. But, they're there. He never quit. He never gets tired. He's got the heart of a lion. And it's just awesome to see the ethic, the work ethic that canine has to find the lost children or, elderly people that are lost.
To show exactly how good Billy is at his job, we put him to a little test. One of Deputy Loughlin's daughters left her cell phone on the ground and then hid some 150 yards away behind a wall.
Billy, find that man. Get to work. Hunt him up. Whoa, whoa. You got him, a good boy. Hunt him up. You got her? Where is he? And just like a bomb dog or drug dog, he sits on his final alert, and that's where I'll check him to make sure. That's a good boy, that a man.
Good boy.
Yeah. It's like all the work that we do when we actually find somebody or find a gun or something, and then when it actually happens and all the training we've done and comes through, it's just awesome. That's a good Amber. You're a good girl.
Now there's a new pup on the force. This is Amber, a new trainee that will someday follow in Billy's paw prints.
We can just train a brand new puppy the way we want, the right way, and having Billy actually stops us from using any negative reinforcement at all. I mean, the worst thing that's going to happen to Amber is that she won't get her treat.
Amber was donated to the Seminole County Sheriff's Office, and it looks like Deputy Billy and his new partner are getting along quite well.
And it is awesome for like Billy to be training Amber up for this. I mean, you couldn't ask for anything better. It's like you've been handed the perfect dream.
Joining me now is Judy Sarullo, owner of the nonprofit Pet Rescue by Judy. Judy, welcome to the show, and tell us, we have another guest today.
Yes, thank you so much. This is Led Zeppelin, one of from a litter of 4, so he needs a good home.
Very good, very good. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the pet rescue business.
I always loved animals, and I started as a volunteer, and then somehow managed to branch out on my own. And it's just grown and grown. I used to be a director of sales for hotels, and as I got bigger,
Was there a personal story for you involved with this?
Animals.
Just a passion for animals?
Animals need someone to speak for them. They're abandoned, they're abused and neglected, and we need to educate people and bring love to these animals, and the animals bring love to the people.
You must receive animals from less than ideal circumstances. What causes people to give up their pets?
Unfortunately, today's era that we're in, the unemployment of people losing their homes, losing their jobs, people are abandoning animals for those reasons. After 20 years, I've never had this many come in, but people don't take the time to train. Unfortunately, sometimes They're not listening to rescue people, people telling the type of dog to get or not to get. People need to know this is a four-legged child. It's part of your family. It needs to have manners. It needs to make certain that it's listening to you, go through training, take the time, take the patience, and you've got a forever loving animal that's going to love you.
One of the articles that I was reading said that getting a pet, a lot of the times the reason that people are dissatisfied is they're not able to train them. But the article said that the animal is not the problem, that the owner is the problem. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, and we have some wonderful trainers that come in and work with our animals at the shelter. They'll go out to the people, start to go in and go into their home and try to educate the people, and that's what it is. I learn every day from my trainers, mistakes that you think you know what you're doing, but you don't, and they're correcting me and advising me, so then I can also advise people that are coming in to adopt. It's educating us to educate our animals, and they'll be just to be an asset.
So you're actually counseling your prospective owners or people that come into the...
Right, it's so important because people, oh, it's so cute. Well, it's really cute. It's a little puppy. If you don't train it properly, it's going to be a big dog with no manners. You can't take it out. It's being destructive in your home. You have not given it guidance. So when we start to give them guidance, do training, spend time to exercise. Exercise, exercise is so important. You've got to take them out, go to the park, run around the yard, play ball. Let them knock out their energy. It's like a child.
So there's a lot of responsibilities involved.
It's expensive. It is now. You have your vet cost, you have your food cost, you have to feed them good food. It's like yourself. Eat well, you'll be healthy. Feed your animals good quality food, they'll be healthy. You'll spend less money going to the vet because they're sick. Exercise, good food, and good manners makes for a lifelong companion.
So the responsibilities that you're setting forth, this is what you counsel for anyone prospective to get it, that gets an animal from you.
And the breed type, there's different breeds. If you're a runner, you don't want to get a basset hound. If you're a couch potato, you don't want to get an Irish setter. So we tell people these types of dogs have a lot of energy. They're going to need more exercise. It's good for a runner, someone that bicycle rides. This is a dog that's like real laid back and slow.
Like
so,
Led Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin. So, we have animals that we say, well, this will be good for an apartment. It's not a barker. It's not a really overactive animal. This animal is not good for an apartment. And it's okay for people to have animals in apartments. I had my collie in New York. We went out 4 or 5 times a day. I worked. I took her out, came back, took her out. We had exercise. I'd rather see an animal in an air-conditioned apartment than stuck outside in the backyard. That's not where they belong. They belong in the home.
So you're matching personalities and personalities along the way. Have you noticed that there are trends in abandonment, whether it's location or times of the year? You just mentioned the recession has been really given you so many more animals to take in.
And people that, unfortunately, I have my own pit lab mix that we've been together for 15 years. They have a really bad name.
So breeds are sometimes...
Breeds are a thing. Apartments, homes, insurance are not accepting pits. Pits are wonderful animals. The horrible stories you hear about, go look at the neighborhoods they come from, look how they're mistreated, how they're beaten, how they're given drugs to make them fighters. Pits are wonderful. They used to be called nanny dogs. In the 50s and 60s, people adopted pits to be nannies to their children, protect their home. Kids can do anything to a pit. They're wonderful animals. Rotties, Dobermans, they all get bad names. It just seems to be certain animals they'll pick up at certain times.
So
and
the
now
perception is that.
So don't hear about the horror stories. Those things happen, but go look where they came from.
What happens when a pet is introduced into the rescue center? Take us through the little process there.
Well, they're terrified. If they've come from a home and now their person has abandoned them, they have no idea. So we sit there, we talk to them, we pet them, we tell them not to worry about it. We put them in a comfortable area. If animals come off the streets, we do the same thing. They have no idea what's happened to them.
They're scared.
So they're scared, and animals will react because they're frightened, just like a person will react if they're frightened. So we just try to console the animals. Even a cat. Cats, they'll hide. They're terrified. They have no idea what's going on with them. So we just take a lot of time and patience and love and get them settled, and then just put them with foster homes, put them with our good volunteers and give them more activity, and just calm them down and educate that they're going to be safe. Nothing's going to happen to them from now on.
You do a lot of fundraising and community outreach, but I would imagine operating a facility like you do is very expensive. How are you managing to successfully run this business?
We're really on a tight budget. My animals go for everything that the animals need. We're at the vets. They're all spayed, neutered, microchipped, vet checked, have all their vaccinations before they're adopted. But we watch every penny that we spend is spent, you know, very diligently, and we work on donations and adoption fees.
So a lot of the animals then you take in are not healthy to begin with. So you're not only giving them the regular vaccines, but you're also nursing some of them back to health.
A lot of animals have to go to the eye specialist. They have to have operations because they've been seriously injured. But we see to all these medical needs. We don't euthanize animals. We find a way. Sometimes I'm hollered at because we spend a lot of money, but then when that animal's healthy and people say it's come into my home and I love it and I don't know how I lived without it, that's what keeps us going.
Judy, you've changed locations a number of times over the
Quite a
past
few times.
years. Is it difficult to find a place that is the right fit for you and for the animals?
Well, yes, it is. We've moved probably 9 times over the 20 years I've been doing this, but we finally have a home of our own, so we're very excited. 2 wonderful buildings were donated to us in Sanford. We have all the drawings, the city's okayed everything, and now we're on a really big hunt we need about $250,000 to go in and renovate the building because it's old, to meet the plans that are meeting with the city.
Now, have you moved in yet?
No.
Now, this is the one that the location is by
behind the Sanford
dog
Park.
And a pet shop is nearby.
Right, and
Sounds
that's
like
Mike's
a perfect
Palace.
location
it is.
for you.
And we have our wonderful boarding and facility down the street, and they'll take in the animals. They're bored. They do daycare. So we just have a wonderful community outreach there. So it's really going to be beneficial in the area. So we're just looking to hurry up and get in and start working on the building so the animals will have a home of their own and they'll be more comfortable than where we are right now.
And hopefully a good place for you to settle.
Yes,
now,
we're here.
Are
We're not
cities
moving.
supportive of your efforts?
We don't get any city or county or federal money, but Sanford is just being wonderful to us to help us get all the plans through that are going to meet the codes so that we can come in there
sounds like an ideal
and
place
add
for
something
you.
to the community.
Yes, yes. What do volunteers, what factor do they play for you? How important are they?
Pet Rescue by Judy would not be here if it wasn't for all the wonderful volunteers. UCF is just phenomenal to us. We're out there constantly doing rent-a-pubs, and the students have their marketing plans, and they come out, they help us raise money.
What did you say, rent-a-pup?
We do rent-a-pup at UCF once a month. We bring 20 pups or dogs, and
like
the students come and they put up their ID and they walk around the campus for half an hour, sit down and have lunch with them. It is so phenomenal. I think it does a lot for the students. It gives them a break in between classes and tests, and it does so much for the animals because it makes them more socialized, and they're happy and they're exhausted when they go back, so they sleep really well at night.
How did you ever come up with an idea like that? That's very creative.
Well, that was the students at the school. They wanted to do something, and I was very fortunate. They picked Pet Rescue by Judy. We said, let's do something that'll benefit the students and benefit Pet Rescue by Judy. And they do donations. It's no charge, but the students will give us, you know, donations,
right.
And they'll help us get food. They do all kinds of drives for us. And we just did a wonderful event with UCF for the military going back to school and helping students with the stress, for tests. So we had a great day out there. We work with the community. We have a lot of people that go from the courts, do community service. They come, they help us, and probably 50% will stay with us after they do their court hours, and we have Bright Futures. So we go back into the community. It's just not adopting an animal. The students get an opportunity to come in and work with the animals. We have the children from the lighthouse that have some visual impairment. They're out there with us, and they work with the animals, and it brings such joy to them.
You have a lot of strategies then for community outreach. I know your website had some really unique events and things that you're doing as well.
We're always trying to come up with something that'll be creative to help us raise money, of course, for the animals, introduce the animals to the community, and help us bring in funds.
And get them adopted
Right.
as well. I read that nearly half of the 8 million dogs and cats that are taken into shelters, animal shelters, last year alone were put to sleep. What is the relationship that the Rescue Center has with animal shelters?
I work with numerous kill shelters or rescue, that we take in their animals, so that, you know, they'll say,
so that's
please
another
take
source
these.
for you that you're
right,
getting
we
animals.
take, you know, a lot of those animals are in really bad condition. They're not up to date on anything, but we take them in. And I just got another 9 puppies yesterday from Seminole County. We're getting 7 more puppies today from Lake County. So it just never stops, the amount of animals that are coming in.
How about an average time is an animal with you before they're adopted, Judy?
It just depends.
It depends.
Somebody can come in and go out the same day, and then I had Marley for 5 years until I found the perfect home for him.
5 years you kept an animal?
I kept him. You know, they're in good health, and he lived at home with me. Great dog, just needed the right environment, and finally found it.
Now, I read that Broward County and Manatee County in Florida have adopted no-kill animal control policies, which means that they don't euthanize the animals that they take in unless they're very ill. Do you think this is the way that shelters should be run?
It gets really hard, I understand
It's
that.
complex?
It's really, I mean, like, all of a sudden then you end up with having no room because you're keeping the animals. But there's so many adoptable, wonderful animals, and the more that we all can get out to the people and make them realize a rescued animal is the most loving, the most appreciative. Some of them came from homes. Things happen in the home. Don't say because it's a rescue. There's wonderful children in foster homes that need a home. It's all the same. So don't label them because they're a rescue.
I was reading as well that one of the studies said that taxpayers actually save money with the no-kill shelters because there's less animal control issues then out in the community. So do you think that this is a sustainable community solution in some instances?
It is, because if they can build spay and neuter clinics, you know, educate, don't let none of our animals go out without being spayed or neutered. It's just, you don't need to have any more animals being born. We need to save the ones that are here. We could go a long time without breeding animals and still have plenty of animals. It does. Like, I take a lot of animals in from the streets that we don't bring to the counties. We take them in, we do everything, and we adopt them out. That does. People have to realize it does save money. You're having a healthy animal. We can find it a home from the kill shelters or animal controls and from our shelters.
Well,
so you do save a lot of money.
A couple of the articles that I read with no-kill shelters around the country said that the keys are increasing adoption awareness and increasing spaying and neutering of animals. So you agree with that as a solution. What about the cities? Is there a way to take more responsibility to make it more affordable for people to get their animals for spaying and neutering?
The cities, the shelters, they can make space. You know, we started that with the SPCA in Orlando back in 20 years ago when I started. We fought, they do that. They can do it in all the shelters. You get doctors that are wonderful. Doctor doesn't have to be there every day. Some of the vets will rotate. You can have certain days. You can have the mobile trucks go out. Go into communities that a lot of people don't have cars. They don't have the money. Low-income areas. Right. They love their animals, but we can educate them and fix their animals. They're not having a mother and 12 puppies or 15 kittens with a mother. Go out to the communities. Go help them. They used to do that. They have to increase it again here in Orlando, and they need to do it in Seminole.
So a more aggressive stance for that. On the average, what would you say that a pet owner should put aside on a month for care and maintenance of an animal?
Monthly, you have your heartworm prevention, you have your flea and tick prevention, which you have to have here in Florida. They have to have a heartworm pill every month. And good food, you're probably looking $50 a month, really. You know.
So it can be expensive. Do you see people that make common mistakes and waste money with pet products or anything?
Yeah.
Any advice for that?
There's so many, you know, when an animal comes in, we use a detergent the first time. It helps kill the fleas and ticks. We use, of course, a flea and tick shampoo. There's so many shortcuts. If they have ear infections, go get Stridex pads. It's $1.99 for a jar. You can clean out their ears, helps you with ear infections. Keep their ears clean. Clean them out once a week because they play in the sand and the dirt. It gets impacted in their ears. That makes infections. Just go online. There are so many easy home products that are not going to hurt the animals. That, you know, you just have to be aware of what you're using. But a lot of things are very reasonable.
And a little common sense.
Right, and just good food, good exercise, and you're going to have a healthy animal.
Judy, what should someone know about pet ownership before they get the pet?
I tell people to spend some time in a dog park, pet sit for a friend's animal.
That's a good idea.
Make certain that you can handle. This is an everyday Just like when people are having children, they're going to stop and think, can I afford it? Can I afford the daycare? Can I afford this? It's the same thing with an animal. Am I going to have enough time? What's my schedule like? Am I going to be able to take them out for a walk? There's so many just common sense things to do. Sit down on the computer, but sit in the park and look at different animals. And, you know,
they're not all going to be like Led Zeppelin
right.
here.
Led Zeppelin is just definitely an angel for a puppy.
You have a program, Seniors for Seniors. Talk a little bit about what that is and the success that you've seen with it.
It's so important. People that, I say seniors, you know, you can be 55, whatever, people that have time on their hands. It keeps them from sitting there and not having anything to do. Maybe they're not in the workforce anymore. They have to get up, they have to take that dog for a walk, they have to sit there with their cat and brush it. It gives them something to do. So we lower the prices for the animals. Again, they're all spayed and neutered, microchipped, they have the same things, but I have animals that have been there for a while, cats and dogs. It gets that animal out, it gives that person companionship, you know, it keeps them alive and alert, and it makes them happy. They have someone to love and hug. A lot of them don't have their children anymore. A lot of their friends might have passed away. They could be in an area that, you know, they don't have a big circle of friends, but they'll have their animal.
So you're actually matching senior pets with senior citizens?
Right. And when we say senior pets, it's not that they're disabled or they're really sickly. Some of them are, but we tell people, and the younger people might take that. You know, and I tell someone, well, this one has a lot of complications. This might not be good because you have to look at your budget. Somebody else that has the money could handle that problem.
So you're really looking at it from a lot of different angles.
Of course, you know, we want the animal to be happy, we want the family to be happy, and then I'm very happy. Because we love getting success stories, and we get a lot of those. People have adopted from us. I don't know how I ever lived without this animal. It makes my life, it made our family, you know, and that's what we work at.
Well, there are a lot of therapeutic uses for animals right now. I was reading about some of the veterans with the post-traumatic stress syndrome.
What we did at UCF.
So you were involved with that as well?
Oh yes, it's so important, you know, and a lot of them will take animals that are, you know, have issues, but they have the time and the energy, and then we go with trainers and we help both, all the animal and the person. And people that are really, you know, have mental problems, having an animal, having someone to love and hug and talk to, and they won't tell any of your secrets.
Do you think that the rescue dogs, in particular, I read a lot with the therapy with the dogs, the rescue dogs are ideal for that?
Oh, definitely. They want to, they need a job. An animal needs a job, and we take some of our animals to the hospitals, to the kids' wards, and to the senior citizens. It makes their day. You have to see the smile on their face. They're so happy.
How could you not love
right.
this?
You know, and they walk around. I had a cat that was at a nursing home, and all the people would keep some of their food, so the cat would go to all their beds, and, you know, so the cat would come and visit with each one of them. So it does a lot. It really keeps up their morale.
Right, right. She's a sweetheart, isn't she?
Yes, she's
very, very
and all
cute.
her siblings are the same way.
Do you think that there's a perception, though, with rescue dogs that you need a particular breed to be able to do a certain function? Do you think they're overlooked a little bit?
They are. I had one, it was my mistake, I had a black lab that I really didn't think was too bright, and an officer came in and spotted that dog, took him, and he's now becoming a dog. He's working with the police. They can be smelling for drugs, they can be out, you know, but I know the police get a lot of the animals from Germany because there's the way they're bred and everything, which has to protect our police.
But you have a rescue dog.
But we have rescue dogs that made it in, and then we have rescue dogs that go help the handicapped. We sent one dog to Chicago. It was tied up for 2 years, had no life, put it through training, and it's with a handicap, and it's the best dog, and it helps. Sometimes people can't afford these dogs that come through, these wonderful canine companions, but there's a lot of expense. But sometimes you can get a dog that's in a shelter and train him, and he'll end up doing the same thing and be there. They can smell when someone's having an attack. We had a pit bull that had its own heart condition, and it was with one of my volunteers, and her child had a disability. The dog knew when it had a seizure, stood there with the child, licked its face until it came out of the seizure, stood behind it, protected it when it was going to bounce back. So, and this was just an instinct that the animal had, and it was a pit.
And right, from a rescue center. Judy, when people want to get a pet, sometimes they have a specific image in mind. How do you encourage them to be more open-minded and maybe consider a rescue animal?
Well, if someone really has their heart set on a certain breed, tell them to go to petfinder.com. There's rescues that do just specific breeds. You know, I take in any breed. three-legged, two-legged, but there's certain breeds that they want. Go check that out, but don't eliminate, like you're saying. Walk through a shelter, look at someone. Some animal's going to look you in the eye, and you're going to just say, oh my goodness, this is the animal I want. So it's like when you go out shopping, you have something in mind, you see something else, and that's what you buy. So take your time, look at different rescue websites, go out to the shelters, go out to animal controls, go look through the cages, come visit with us or another rescue. But keep an open mind, because someone's going to look you in the eye, and that's who it's going to be.
Yes. Judy, thank you so much for being on the
Thank
show
you.
today. I've been talking about pet rescue and animal adoption with Judy Cerullo from Pet Rescue by Judy. Before we leave, let's take a look at how dogs are being used as therapy. Thank you for tuning in to UCF Metro Center Outlook. Until next time, I'm Diane Trees.
I started caring canines, that was September of '03. We now have over 140 dogs out in the field of all sizes and shapes and breeds, and we welcome anybody that would like to join us with a good-natured dog.
I think it's important for the hospital to offer this service because of the benefit that our patients derive from it. When you have a patient that shows up in the hospital who's ill, sometimes they're withdrawn, sometimes they're struggling not just with the physical disease, but with the emotional, and to be able to draw that patient out with something that is familiar to them.
I mean, I've enjoyed that, the dogs did.
Come here.
I'm an animal lover anyways, but they do make you feel better, not better.
In the same way that it brings joy to the patients, staff members actually look forward. Many staff members have pets at home, and they light up when they have a chance to see one of these therapy dogs.
There are a number of instances where I've seen patients respond and actually have improvement in their clinical symptoms due to interactions with the dogs.
Well, Cameo, thank you so much for coming to see me. It takes away my missing my 2 Yorkie babies. Come again.
Use of pet therapy in cancer patients has statistically reduced the incidence of fatigue, cancer-related pain, and cancer-related psychosocial stress. So it's a real measurable effect that the dogs have on the patients.
When you walk around the hospital and see the big smiles as soon as they see the dog's face is reason enough.
This program is made possible by funding from the UCF Metropolitan Center for Regional Studies, where government leaders, business executives, and academic experts come together to discuss major issues facing the state of Florida.